Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing this Thursday morning? Hope everyone's doing well. We got a lot to talk about on this episode as far as you got a new champion in the women's NBA. You got the World Series getting ready to kick off tomorrow night. All kinds of trades going on in the NFL. And before we get into this, we'll let Cool Beans do a shout out to our listeners.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to our listeners, for those that are listening to the live and come back to watch the replays. We thank you for that. This one is another one of our audio editions, so this will be on our audio show. And we'd like to thank those cities that we have listening, like Grinzak, Weilen, Germany, Brussels, Belgium. We got Los Angeles, California, San Jose, California, Boardman, Oregon, Ashburn, Virginia. We'd like to thank y'all for always listening.
Yes, thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us. We'll go ahead and get started in this so we can get everything fitted in this hour. The other night, you had the women's NBA final game 5, which turned out to be a grand game, big game. I didn't get to watch it. I will say that. I think I may have been at work. I can't remember what day it was, but
right. I wanted to say, was that Sunday? I thought it was the same night we recorded.
We may have. That's probably what it was. But New York Liberty ended up winning the championship 67-62 in overtime, where Minnesota only scored 2 points in overtime and New York scored 7. So Minnesota needed to finish that off in regulation, and they didn't. So they end up losing it in overtime. I'll run down some scores here from that game real fast. And this is with Minnesota. You had Carleton had 3 points for Minnesota. Smith had 6. Caller had 22. McBride 21. You had Williams with 4, and they only got 6 points off the bench, and that came from Heedman. That was it for Minnesota in the scoring department. And then with the New York Liberty, you had Laney had 4. Stewart had 13. Jones with 17. Fibich had 13. And Lazunku had 5. Thornton had 2 on the bench. Sabley off the bench had 13 points. So that does your round out for New York. They bring home the title for the very first time this year.
Which I'm glad they got it, because next year probably might be the last year. It might not even have a next year, because the women's Players Association canceled their collective bargaining agreement, and they're asking for more money, which I understand. Like Caitlin's rookie contract was just only $75,000, but at the same time, even though Caitlin Clark, they've had record attendance and all these people coming in and more fans, and they found out about the TNT deal. The Players Association canceled the deal because they want more money. However, even with all this new stuff with Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark effect, they still lost $40 million. It's still $40 million in the hole. So my thing is, how do you expect to get more money when there ain't nothing there?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, where's that money coming from? You ain't filling the stands. The only place that was filling the stands is where Caitlin went.
Yeah, and they're trying to get her out of there.
And so they're shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, and that goes back to, you've heard me talk even at work and stuff, talking about business 101.
Yep.
If you got no fans in the stadiums, there's no money, there's no revenue coming in. It don't matter how much money they pay you if there's there's no fans coming in to watch the game, or if there's no viewership on TV. And where you getting the money from? It
Right.
just it just won't grow on trees.
Yeah, here's the thing they're thinking. They're thinking, oh, you got this new $200 million contract, so there's money there to pay us. Not necessarily, because they only get that money, that 200 million, is because they think TNT is thinking, well, we can sell commercial ads. But here it is, companies like Coca-Cola, they're saying, I'm not paying you that much, and you don't even have 1 million viewers. I'm not paying you that.
And the thing is, too,
They're ads.
I don't know what the ticket prices is to go to a women's NBA, but you pay them more money. That ticket price has got to go up. How's that going to the arena
Exactly.
by raising a ticket when you ain't getting people in there now? So, I mean, you gotta think things through. It's just easy. Yeah, Beans. Where we work at the VA, I'd love to make $50 an hour.
I know, exactly.
Maybe we need to walk out and have Uncle
Yeah,
Sam pay us $50 an hour.
exactly.
I mean, come on, you got to be reasonable somewhere. And that's the thing. Everybody sees dollar signs today, and they can't think rationally. I mean, really. I mean, so I don't know where that. Well, like I said, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Even if they do a walkout next year or whatever, they're going to lose what viewership they had when they do that. So they're not thinking that through as well.
Right. The way I see it, the minute they have that lockout and they walk out, that's over, because there's no coming back from it. Even if they say, okay, we won't give you more money, there's no coming back from it, because nobody's going to watch it.
No, they're not. They're not. So, yeah, that's not smart on their part. So I don't know what they're thinking there. But we'll see what happens with that when that goes forward. And since we're on basketball right now, the NBA has started.
Yeah, I got some stuff for you there. I couldn't wait till we got to the NBA side.
I'll go over some scores from last night. You had the Pacers beating the Pistons 115 to 109. The Hawks beating the Nets 120 to 116. The Magic over the Heat 116 to 97. The Bucks and the 76ers. The Bucks beat them 124 to 109. The Cavaliers beat the Raptors 136 to 106. The Hornets beat the Rockets 110 to 105. Pelicans 123 to over the Bulls to 111. The Grizzlies beat Utah Jazz 126 to 124. The Suns beat the Clippers 116 to 113. And wow, what a score here. The Warriors over the Trailblazers 139 to 104.
Yeah, it was some good scores. You notice there's a big difference in them NBA scores than them WNBA scores.
There is, but I think don't the men they play more minutes. Their quarters are they not?
They're all the same.
Okay, well, see, well there you go. And shows you what I know with the women's NBA there.
No, it's the women's NBA. They throw a lot of bricks, and there's a podcast called the Ben Daniels podcast. I watch every now and then. I be catching, and I do agree with it on it. He had one game. He was showing just one quarter how many missed layups they had. They were right there up there. In the men's which they're that close to dunking the ball. But most of them they dunk.
They can take those bricks and build homes and sell them.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. They get their money that way. But NBA is kicking off. And I just seen something that I guess was it last night or the night before last? The James boys got in at the same time.
That's what I was gonna tell you. That's what it's gonna go over.
And that's all they was worried about. The first father-son duo ever to play on the court together, because you had that with baseball. You had that a couple times. That happened a few times.
Yeah, I think the latest one was the Griffeys.
The Griffeys, yeah, senior and junior.
Yep.
Actually, I think there was another. Well, no, there was a set of brothers. I think after that. Well, there's brothers all through there, but at
least the Griffeys were good though.
Yeah, the Griffeys were real good. Both of them were, and everything else. And I'll just go ahead. I backed it up. It was It was Tuesday night. Lakers won 110-103 over Minnesota. It's still
Mm-hmm.
early, early in the season. You get on here, and LeBron James had his let's see here, 16 points is what LeBron James had, and baby boy there had
A
zero,
rebound.
an egg, an
Exactly.
egg. So they got their fame of playing on the court together. His career, I think, is going to be short lived once Daddy is gone, because we'll see what happens from game to game. But I mean, we'll just see how he does. We'll just put it that way. We knew how he was in college with stats, but I don't think it'll improve in the NBA at all, because you've seen good college kids coming out had all kinds of stats, then get to the NBA and falls off. So usually don't see it increase going to the NBA.
Right. I had this one dude. I cannot remember what his name is. I wanted to say I was trying to look him up. His last name was Walker or something like that. It was close, or it might have been Williams, but I couldn't remember what the name, so I couldn't look him up. But on the last day, the Lakers cut him, and it was he was way better than Bronny.
Yeah, they had to make room for him.
Yep.
And then think about this. Didn't they pay him $9 million?
Yeah, something like that.
$9 million and to stink it up. I mean, think about that.
And the other guy, D-Neck is what they call him, but it's like Dalton Neck is his last name. He put in 16 minutes in that game, 5 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists.
Don't get it. Don't know how. I mean, I know it's all about money and everything, but we'll see how Lakers start out. They started out 1-0, so we'll see how they end up through the season.
Right. They look like they could be a contender, but this stunt that they did with Bronny doesn't say they're serious about winning.
Well,
they're about publicity.
When Daddy starts complaining through the season because his boy ain't getting no playing time, they're going to put him in and they're going to start losing, because it's going to affect the flow of the game, and it's going to affect how everything's going. That's what's going to happen.
Right. But I don't think Daddy can get to complaining too much. I think the Lakers might be complaining. It's like, why are we paying him $9 million just to sit there?
So they didn't lose Daddy. So Big James didn't leave. That's all I was about.
I would have took my chances about him leaving, because
I'll guarantee you he was getting calls from other organizations saying, "Hey, if you come here, we'll draft your boy." But he stayed in LA because he's got a home there and everything else.
I'd have let him go.
Yeah, I would have too.
Because you know how they like to do. They're like, well, I get for this amount of money, I can get a younger player, someone that's actually going to be the future. Because let's face it, LeBron got this year, maybe next year also.
Yeah, you're getting ready to see a big drop off. I mean, if not, then I'll tell you. Well, we talked about this at work. Look at Kobe Bryant. Okay, his last year or two. That last year, he looked like the Michelin Man on the sideline there with ice all over him.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. If here in the next year or two, if you don't see a drop off, then he's taking something he shouldn't be. I'm just going to say it right now. Because you know how once you hit your 40, when you hit 40, your body it just changes.
Mm-hmm.
You start slowing down. You look at Michael Jordan. Yeah, I mean, your body it's not like it used to be. But we'll see what happens with the next year or so with his playing, and see this year and how the Lakers are going to fare and everything. Anything else in the NBA news?
Do you hear the stupid stuff with the Philadelphia 76ers? You know how they dropped their opener? Embiid didn't play in that opener. And Embiid has come to the conclusion, and the coach is okay with this. So this kind of tells you how the Philadelphia 76ers management is. Embiid says he's not playing back-to-back games because he's always hurt, and it's like he can't, his knees is bad and everything. and he's not going to play back-to-back games. So he sat out, and the coach is okay with him sitting out.
That is the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life.
Sounds like the owner needs to be trading some people and firing some people.
I think I would trade him off for one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you right now, these load of players that they have today in the NBA are a bunch of crybabies.
They are.
I like how Shaq and Chuck put it. You're getting paid to play 82 games. 82. You play those 82 games. And Chuck and them weren't making the money they are today. They're making more money
Exactly.
and they're crying more.
And now Kevin Garnett, him and Paul Pierce, they have a podcast also. And Kevin Garnett was mad. He was like, he said, okay, they asked Kevin Garnett, they said, in an 82-game season, how many games do you think he should play? He said 82. He said, that's what you're paying you for, 82 games.
That's it.
and that's the minimum because you got playoffs and everything. So 82 is the minimum.
Exactly. And the thing is, I don't get it, man, with these players. You didn't hear the NBA players like when Michael Jordan then complaining about playing 82 games.
Exactly.
But now you've got them whining, complaining, and crying. We got to play 82 games.
They wasn't complaining when they're like in the playoffs. You play a game, you travel, and then you play the next day.
No, they didn't. They didn't complain then.
They played the game.
And if I'm not mistaken, if you was at home 2 games, you played back-to-back nights, then you traveled, and then the next night you was playing away.
Yep.
So y'all need to grow up. Y'all a bunch of little whiny crybabies is what they are. Gosh, never heard of such. But is there anything else? I didn't hear. That was the first I heard about that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I just wanted to call out Embiid on that. And the coach Nick Nurse. I'm looking for. He's already on my hot seat for the year. I mean, like you was okay with that as a coach. Him saying he's not going to play back-to-back games.
Okay, why don't they do this? You can alternate games, and he just plays plays the second half of the game.
Even that would have been better. He still plays because they had calculated they have 26 back-to-back games on their schedule. So 13 he ain't playing. He's gonna be sitting out.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
In Boston, they started off where they left off. They killed my Knicks. And it's like, even though the Knicks went down, they was like 109 to 132. Our guy, West Virginia guy, McBride, he still had 22 points.
That dude's pretty good. I hated it when he left early, but your Knicks, they didn't. But all right, we're moving right along. Tomorrow night starts Game 1 of the World Series at 8:08 p.m. on Fox. The Yankees and the Dodgers. The Yankees will be in LA. If I can, I will try to watch some of that game. See how that goes and everything else. That's the showdown. Even though I'm not a Yankees fan and not a big Yankees fan, I am a Aaron Judge fan, though. I like him. But this is a showdown that you have to say most people was looking for.
Right, yeah.
Even if you're not a fan of the Dodgers or the Yankees. I mean, as a baseball fan, this is what you wanted to see.
That's what you wanted to see first. And other than that matchup, they would have wanted the Subway matchup.
Yeah, they wanted another Subway matchup. But here we go. That's starting off tomorrow, kicking off and everything. And so we'll see how that goes. I don't know if this will go a Game 7. It just all depends. I mean, I could see the Dodgers winning this in 5 or 6.
Mhm.
If the Yankees, it just all depends if the Yankees are hot or cold. I mean, if the Yankees are hitting the ball and playing, this could go Game 7. I think the Yankees need to split one of these two games in L.A.
Yeah, they need to do that.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the format now it's changed. I think it's 2 there, and then it'll be 3 at New York, and then back to 2 at L.A. If I'm not mistaken. See, I changed the format a lot since when I was growing up watching and everything else. So, because it used to be 2, 2, I think 1, 1, and 1 or something like that.
Yeah,
So, but I guess they've done that to cut back on travel expense and everything else.
right. But the way I was seeing it, I was already going to call this for the Dodgers. And the reason being, I was like, the New York Liberty already brought a championship home. They're going to bring that championship home to New York. And I was like, that's probably going to be all New York going to get because we know it ain't going to be the Knicks. I would love it to be the Knicks, but I doubt it's going to be the Knicks. Not the way Boston whooped up on them. And we know it ain't going to be the Giants or the Jets.
We talking about the two men are going to come back and win that division. They're going to the Super Bowl. But that's all I guess right now for baseball news. We'll go get ready. I guess. You want to touch on a little bit on hockey, ain't you? You want a little bit on there? Or?
Well, I was going to save it for, I was looking at it. Like I said, I have some confusions. I wanted to talk to Mark about it because that loss column, they have 2 loss columns. You have your regular losses and then you have your overtime losses. And I'm like, why are they separating the two? I'm like, what? I mean, ain't a loser? It's like, well, this loser gets higher status because all his losses came from overtime games.
I don't know what to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, so I'll be ready to start the hockey segment on when we do our live on Saturday.
Sounds good. Well, we'll touch up a little bit on. We'll go with college football. I got something to point out, and this is like a rumor mill, but it's a strong rumor mill. Here you got the Linda K. Epling Field here in Beckley for baseball.
Okay.
It's for the miners out there on Raglan Road. Well, the people that own that, one of them, he said, here's a strong rumor. He said, this is pretty strong. Our Senator Joe Manchin, Nick Saban, went to WVU to talk to Warren Baker, the AD. So, we don't think it'll ever happen. Warren Baker is the athletic director for WVU. So I guess Joe Manchin is trying to lobby for Nick Saban to try to come to WVU because if nobody knows, Nick Saban is from West Virginia.
I didn't know that.
He's a West Virginia boy. So
that would be good if Nick Saban came to WVU. Neil Brown is good as fire. If Nick says, I would love to have that job, he's already gone. They got him going.
So, but that is a strong rumor mill, a strong rumor. But I don't see it happening unless, because the thing is, West Virginia don't have the money to pay him real big money. But maybe he would do it just to come back to hometown to try to get a championship here. That would be the only way that program would ever come close to getting a national title.
Right. And come to think, you know what? It's not really a bad gamble because, like I said, Nick Saban don't need the money.
Nah.
He's made a ton while he's in Alabama. And 2, this would be more of a challenge for him. Since he's from West Virginia, he's like, would he be the one that get West Virginia that title?
But we'll see what happens. I doubt anything comes of it. Uh, but it'd be nice to have that to see him to come to West Virginia, do a couple years here before he completely gives it all up um, and stuff. And talk about. Now think about that. Let's just talk about a little bit on that. If he happened to would come, which I don't think he is, I'm gonna say that I just don't think he will. If he would come to West Virginia and then 2 or 3 years get a title at West Virginia, would that not put him probably the greatest coach ever? Now think about that. I mean, he won at Alabama. That's one of
Mm-hmm.
your big schools in the SEC. But to come to West Virginia, who has not been a contender since 2007, 8,
Yeah.
when McAfee and all them were there, and they were ranked 1 or 2 in the country. So would that not? I mean, him to come here and then later on win another one would have to put him up there above Landry and all them.
Right. And then two, we got to think about it. You say West Virginia don't have the money to pay him. I don't know. The next thing we'll be talking about is the Nick Saban effect. You know, like how Caitlin filled out them stadiums. Nick
Hey,
might fill out them stadiums.
I will say this: if he would come to West Virginia, them games would be sold out probably
Yeah,
all year, and that hasn't happened since, like I said, the 2008 season when they lost to Pitt. Pitt knocked their title hopes out. So yeah, that ain't happened since then. And the fans won't be leaving at halftime like you've seen at the game this past weekend.
yeah.
um, but we already done our picks on the live Sunday night.
Yeah, we didn't do NFL. We supposed to do NFL tonight,
But
especially since we got tonight's game too.
Yeah, I'll run down just who's playing again because we've already done our picks. Tonight, you've got Syracuse and Pitt playing at 7:30. You got Friday night. You got Boise State, UNLV, and then the Saturday game slates. This is just for the top 25. You got Nebraska, number 4, Ohio State, Notre Dame at Navy. There's your first upset of the day. But Washington and Indiana, Oklahoma at Ole Miss, and here's one here. I'd like to put an asterisk beside. The only thing is they're just traveling so far. Number 20 Illinois is going to Eugene, Oregon, to play the number 1 Ducks. Don't be surprised. You could probably see an upset there or a good game out of that, but we'll see what happens. The traveling can play a big part into that.
Yeah.
BYU's playing UCF. 21 Missouri's playing number 15 Alabama. Texas is playing Vanderbilt. You better watch Vanderbilt. I mean, they're playing they're playing in Vandy, so and Vandy's 5-2,
and they've already knocked off a number 1.
So yeah, Florida State and Miami. That's in Miami. Penn State and Wisconsin. LSU and Texas A&M. You got Kansas playing number 16 Kansas State. And man, they didn't really go nowhere.
Yeah, they only went up 1.
They was 17th last week. And me tell you this: playing in Morgantown is not an easy task.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a scrappy game. It don't matter if they're sorry or good or not. But I mean, you think they would have shot up a little bit more than that. And then SMU is playing Duke. That's to round up some of the games that's going on this weekend. Let me make sure I got them all because for some reason they don't put all them top 25 games in there. And
I don't know. I think it's the way Google is. Like when I look up college football on Google, it'll give me like the first 3 games, and you have to hit that for load more. And then when you hit load more, it brings you games from last week. It mixes them in.
Yeah. It's just crazy. I know Google sometimes you get stuff and it don't make sense. I will say, all right, let's see. I think I got that. Yeah. I think there's nothing. We didn't miss nothing. I'd say if Colorado wins this weekend, they'll be 6-2. Surely they should be breaking the top 25. You would think.
Right.
And just so we'll mention this, and then we can move on to NFL. West Virginia, they're going to Arizona. They play Saturday night at 7 p.m., which they're going to lose that game. They've got one of the best receivers in the nation. Arizona does, and our DBs will not be able to cover him. I say he'll go for over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Receiving yards. He'll have 150 yards receiving, if not more, maybe 200, and he's going to have 3 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, because that's secondary, and I don't blame it on the players. I blame it on the coaching and the schemes. So, I mean, they just play too much. They play too conservative in the secondary. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't see West Virginia winning that game. I'll be lucky to see West Virginia to win 1 or 2 more the rest of the season. They're not going to a bowl game this year.
Right.
We'll move on to the NFL. And we'll go ahead and get the picks out of the way right now if you want.
Cool beans. Let's go ahead and do that.
Little man back here, he's getting a little tired.
Right.
Okay. Tonight you got the Vikings and the Rams. I went ahead and went the Vikings on this.
I'm going Vikes on it too.
I will say something. I seen Cooper Kupp's coming back for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned him being traded in talks and stuff and some reports, but we'll see what happens there. Then you got the Ravens and the Browns.
Ravens and Browns.
They're playing in Cleveland. They got Jameis Winston's at the quarterback spot.
Right.
But I got the Ravens winning this one.
There's no even question to me. We already know where I'm going. Ravens.
And then you got the Jets at the Patriots. I went ahead with the Jets on this.
I'm going Jets too. I'm done betting going on the Patriots. They have let me down. When you couldn't beat Jacksonville, I was like, I am going no Pats. I'm going everything gonna be against Pats.
Well, they got Devontae Adams now. You give him a couple weeks, you may see the Jets start putting some string of wins on the board. Oh, did you see where the head coach that they fired?
Oh, I missed it. Was another head coach that got fired?
No, what's his name that got fired from the Jets?
Oh, yeah, for him. They're paying him $20,000 a day.
Well, he's in Packers. Packers picked him up.
Really?
He's in Green Bay. If that was true, that came across my news feed thing. He's in Green Bay on the Green Bay's coaching staff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how true that is. I didn't double check that to look it up, but that came across. All right, you got the Broncos and the Panthers. I know you're going with the Panthers on this, ain't you?
Oh, no. I was about to say, because I thought you were saying Broncos. I was about to say, yep, I sure am. I was like, oh, get y'all.
The Chiefs and the Raiders.
I'm going Chiefs. Oh, that's going to be the game. Not because the Raiders are good.
I know where you're going. Yeah, that doll they did.
Yeah, when they was making fun of the torture game.
Yep. All right, are you ready for this? It's the Cowboys and the Niners, and I got the Niners going to win.
I got Cowboys. I can't help it. I'm a diehard fan.
The Eagles and the Bengals. I got the Bengals on this one.
I got Bengals on that too.
And then you got the Lions and the Titans.
Oh, that's what you got. Lions.
Then you got the Cardinals and Dolphins. I went with the Cardinals on this.
Huh, I can't believe it. I got to go with Cardinals on this. I don't think the Dolphins going to win. I think Dolphins is done.
Well, Tua comes back this weekend. He's in the starting lineup, so he's back. Then you got the Falcons and the Buccaneers. I went with the Falcons. The
Last
Buccaneers.
time I went to the Falcons, I counted on the Falcons. They let me down. I'm going Bucks.
Well, the Bucks don't have their number 1 or 2 receivers. Just keep that in mind.
I'm going Falcons.
You got Godwin's on the IR, and then
Mike Evans, what happened to him?
He's out hurt for this game. I don't know exactly what's wrong with him, so he's out hurt. So they don't have their 1 and 2 receiver. Now get this. I was told I didn't get to finish. I didn't watch that game. There was 30 seconds left. They're down 10 points. The Bucks are. Instead of taking Godwin out, they still left him in, and he got hurt with less than 30 seconds left in the ball game.
Oh, man.
And they were down 10. And so, yeah, that's what happened to Godwin. And he's out for at least 4 weeks.
Oh.
So that's what's happened. And coaching, they're probably sitting there thinking to themselves, man, why didn't we not take him out? Or just go
I
ahead
know, because that's a game you're not going to win anyway. You're down 10 points, 30 seconds left in the game.
Yeah. So it don't make no sense at all at that. And they just cost them their number 2 receiver.
Right. Unless there's something we don't know about. Is there a 10-point play?
I guess they thought they had Tom Brady back there, I guess. So, then where we at? The Packers are playing the Jaguars.
Hate to say it. I'm going Pack. Can't stand the Packers, but I ain't going to bet on no Jaguars.
Then you got the Chargers. Hold on, no, let's see here. You got the Colts and the Texans. I'm gonna go Texans on that.
Colts and Texans. Yeah, I'm going Texans on that.
Then you got the Chargers and the Saints. I went with Chargers on that. You got the Bills and Seahawks in Seattle. I went with the Bills, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Seahawks don't pull it out in Seattle.
Right, but you look at it this way. Seattle can take this loss. I'm going with the Bills. Seattle can take this loss because San Fran is not going to catch them because they finna lose to Dallas this weekend.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think Dallas can't stop nobody right now. All right, here's the game here. The Bears and the Commanders. Now, let me say this. I don't know if you know this, Jaden Daniels is out of this game. He's hurt.
Yeah, them ribs.
So they got Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. They're playing in Washington. I went with the Bears on this one.
I think I'm going Bears too.
If JT was in, if Daniels was in, I would have went the Commanders on this. But
yeah, because this was the big showdown. This is the epic 1 versus 2, but 2 ain't gonna be in it. So it's like some of the hype done died down, but I think the Bears will pull this out. Caleb is playing a lot better than I thought he would.
Caleb's doing good. And that defense, though, I will say this, that defense has helped carry him.
Yep.
But Williams is playing good and everything else. And then we got one more game here to pick, and that is the Giants playing in Pittsburgh. I got the Steelers on this.
I got Steelers.
And I'm going to say this. The Steelers are a different team with
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson looked good the other night. That offense is different now. I didn't think we'll see what happens in the next couple games because he looked good his first game back.
Yeah, he did. I thought it was a mistake pulling Fields for Russell, but you guys see, because it was like when Fields was in there, he was actually scoring the touchdowns. He would get up there close enough to where he would run in there, but that's how they made touchdowns. He didn't do anything as far as in the air.
No. Hats off to Coach Tomlin for doing that.
Yep.
I mean, that's I mean, hats off to him. He's a good coach. He's going to be tough. I mean, that was a good call so far. We'll see see how he plays the next few weeks coming. But other than that, he looked good. He looked good the other night.
Yep.
But now here's some news here, some trade news. The Chiefs got Hopkins from the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, he's just another piece of the puzzle. I don't think he'll put the stats up that Rashid Rice was putting up.
No,
I don't think he would.
Either.
I'd have rather had Amari Cooper than him, but Amari Cooper's in Buffalo. He had a good debut last week. Then you had Davante Adams is at New York. They tried to get Davante the ball, but they wasn't letting Davante Adams beat them. So, and there's going to be some more trade rumors going around. Deontay Johnson there in Carolina. Trade talks about Cooper Kupp. There's some other receivers that's going to be moving. The teams that need. You figure the Bucks will be making some moves because they need a receiver.
Right. You want to hear my favorite part of the trade talk?
What's that?
I don't know if you heard this now, but I heard it. It was kind of exciting for me in a special way. Jerry Jones says he's not making any trades. I'm fine with the person that we have here. I'm like, you idiot.
Did that surprise you at all?
I don't know. It didn't surprise me at all.
He didn't make no moves in the offseason. Why would he make them during the season? I mean, we're going to die with what we got. Maybe he should be making some moves for the defense so they can stop somebody.
I'm serious. One of these days, I'm going to have a banner back here that says fire Jerry Jones.
Like we're saying fire Neil Brown.
Yep.
Fire. You always got them delusional ones out. Nah, give him 2 more years. Give him 3 more years. He's done been there 6. Neil Brown has.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jones is the problem in Dallas. So, but let's see. I don't know if there's any more moves. Trying to think. I don't think so. I don't think there've been any more moves. But you got the injuries, man. They're still piling up, and everything else. They're still piling up. And it ain't slowed down none. Every week it's another one.
Well, if you figure if the NFL started playing more like these NBA dudes, they'd be okay.
Start trying. I will mention this. Now I will back the NFL players on this. You got the NBA crying about 82 games. It's always been there since the league started. The NFL is a more rougher sport. So I can see them complaining about adding extra games to the regular season.
Yeah.
I can see that. Baseball and basketball, that's what it's been. It's not like you can see even the hockey complaining, hey, this is a rough sport. We need to cut back a few games.
Yeah.
You can understand that.
I sure can.
But as far as the NBA, that's ridiculous.
Now, come to think of it, and I guess this is going a little bit too far, too extreme, but the NFL and hockey, and talking about as rough sports, and the NBA can't complain. Both the NFL and hockey has had a player die on the field.
Yeah.
Because like that last guy who got cut with that, he just had to deal with a jerk when he was kicking up that blade and cut that man in the throat.
Well, them 2 guys went at each other. That was kind of an intentional. I don't know whatever happened to that. They was trying to get him for manslaughter.
Yeah,
them 2 have been fighting. This was a thing against. They've been going on for a while between those 2, but I don't know whatever happened out of that ordeal. But if they did charge him or not.
Well, I know he got charged. I just don't know how the court case went. He got charged for manslaughter. And they threw him out of hockey.
Well, they should have. I mean, that was dirty. I mean, that is dirty as you can get. I mean, if you want to swing a stick at him, I mean, I'd have
Yeah,
been
that's one
better.
thing.
I'd been better off than doing that. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what was going through that guy's mind.
yeah.
And the
Me neither.
NFL player was a Detroit Lion. It was a lineman. He had a heart attack on the field.
Yeah. So, let's see, anything else to mention with the NFL going on?
No, let's see. No, I think we are good on as far as NFL goes. Yeah, I think we're good as far as all that. You said tomorrow night is the first World Series game.
Yeah, game 1 tomorrow night, 8
So
o'clock.
we'll talk about the results on Saturday when we do our.
Saturday, game 2 should be going on. So
they're doing this in back-to-back games.
I think. Let me double check to make sure. Let's make sure I'm not wrong on this.
You know what? I think you're right about that. I think you said it because I was thinking like Sunday they would have a game, and there's no game on Sunday.
No. Let's see. Saturday, yeah, game 2 Saturday is at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
No game Sunday. Then they go back to New York Monday, Tuesday. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and actually Wednesday too. Yeah, they're playing 3. Their format is 2-3-2. So 3 games in the middle will be played at New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they advance on past that, the last 2 games will be played on Friday and Saturday, games 6 and 7 if necessary.
Yeah, I remember when the NBA was doing that. They should have left it at that. And
I think that's a better format.
It is.
It's a better format and everything else. And so, but they change stuff all the time. And I'm going to say it's not for the better. Everything they change, I don't think it's for the better half the time.
Right.
But if that's you got anything else?
No, not really. Like I said, I can't think of anything else. I wanted to put out the Jerry Jones ain't making trade, so we already talked about that.
I've already mentioned
Hopkins going to the Chiefs.
Yep, we mentioned that.
That's going to help me in fantasy football because maybe Worthy will get open now. He ain't doing me no points. I am getting killed in fantasy football.
Well, Rasheed Rice, when he was there, didn't help him. I don't think Devontae will. Right.
Here's a question for you. I've been meaning to look up, but I don't. Do they do fantasy basketball?
Yes.
They do?
Yep. You got fantasy basketball. You can get on that if you want to. Go to ESPN. And you can do a league there, get into it. They do baseball. They do hockey. They do them all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I will mention this. I did mention Fire Neil Brown. Fire Neil Brown.
And Jerry Jones. And Jerry Jones.
6 years. And like I always say, if you don't see some improvement by year 3, and I'm not talking major improvement, it can be small improvement. You don't see some small improvement by year 3, that dude, whoever the coach is, he's not going to be the guy. That's just that simple. He's got to go. Hire Nick Saban. Hire Nick Saban.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah,
it's like with their secondary. I don't know what their scheme is. I mean, like when he's watching, I didn't really watch too good for that to see whether they was playing cover 2, cover 1. Well, I know they weren't playing cover 1. Cover 1 is man to man. I know they wasn't doing that. Cover 2 is when you put 2 deep safeties back.
They were playing cover 2. You talking about WVU?
Yeah,
they had
both safeties are back.
And then I think they got their eyes watching in, and they come in, and that's how they get burned all the time.
Yeah,
well, they're going to get burned a lot come Saturday night. So it's that quarterback probably for Arizona will probably throw for 300 or 400 yards.
Right.
So.
Oh, speaking of this, since we got time, I might as well get it. That cover 2 defense in the NFL, they're thinking about making a rule to where they can't do that.
Why?
They want the scoring to go up. So, I mean, like that's wrong.
What do you want it? 80 to 90?
Exactly.
I mean, come on now.
And with these NFL games that look like NBA scores.
They're wanting offense win championships, not defense.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
But all right, I guess since we're getting close, getting down close on time, you don't got anything. We'll not do what we always say. If you're out there, you're thinking about harming or hurting yourself, I always call that quick number 988. It's the Veterans Crisis Line. 1-800-273-8255. Don't be afraid to hesitate to give out a call or go to your local VA medical center to the ER, ask them for help, and they'll get you in contact to the resources that you need. Always stay in contact with your battle buddies. Pay attention. Any change in the behavior, it's unnormal with him or her. So that's all we have. You got anything else, Beans?
I got nothing.
Well, y'all stay safe, and we'll see you Saturday night at
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Eastern.
Have a good one.
All righty. Oh, yeah.